Hey, I'm Jonathan Braylock,
I'm Luke Job.
And I'm Sergio.
and this is the Floor Play Podcast.
He's like,
Yep.
right there.
Yeah, I hope that worked out perfectly.
I've got good timing.
Everyone, welcome. This is the Floor Play Podcast. We are recapping season 4, Fox's hit game show, The Floor, episode 7, Playing Offense. And man, oh man, what an episode we have in store. Also, I don't think we said this on the podcast, but because I've been texting our WhatsApp group chat. This is the 6th time in a row now that an episode has had more viewers than the last one. So every single episode this season has had more viewers than the previous episode, which is insane. That just doesn't happen.
Insane.
It just really
Yeah.
doesn't. Like, it just doesn't happen. And it really speaks to how engaging this season is, especially because there wasn't, like, in season 3, their first episode premiered like a football Sunday, which
Super Bowl
obviously
Sunday.
Super Bowl Sunday, which got them so many viewers for that first episode and allowed them to, like, keep some of those. We didn't have any of that, but this show is, like, kicking off on what it's a new time as well, and the ratings have just still been amazing. It's just been epic, and we have a great episode of the podcast in store for you today. We have our first guest here. Should we just get right into it because
Absolutely.
she's here? So here we go. We're gonna welcome Ashton to the show.
What up?
Ashton, welcome.
Welcome.
Where it is?
I'm so excited.
Oh, we are excited to have you. Also, I love this. Is that your helicopter right there in the back?
I did. This is
Oh.
the
Look at this.
guy who goes.
Yep. Ask about the helicopter later, but not yet.
Sit down the business, keep it together.
We want to keep it down a bit.
I do have
Ashton-
to game for y'all before we hang up, though.
Okay.
The
Wait,
game?
Yeah.
Do you want to play
Okay.
this game now, or do you want to play it after?
No, we can wait till after.
Okay. I love this. All right. Ashton, you had the category of ghost stories. You were repping the state of Louisiana, and you're an incredible competitor on the show. Before we get started, let's hear about, like, how you got that category of ghost stories. Was that a category you picked, or did they give it to you? What happened with that?
No, honestly, okay, so I'll start at the beginning. So I was actually at work and we just started watching. All we watch is scary stuff, anyways. But we got on this kick of watching different game shows, and so the floor had come up, and so we were up here and watching it, and I was with the pilots and my partner and stuff, and I was like, I'm gonna see how you apply. And so this was like September, October of this last year, and so I think I found it on Reddit because it was not easy to find, like, the link to apply.
Sure.
And so I put it in, did like a 1-minute video in helicopter.
Incredible.
With, like, BS, just stupid answers. Like, it was honestly just for fun. And so, like, a month later, I get a text. It was like, this is Alex, one of the producers with Fox. Do you have a minute? And I was like, yes. Like, I literally had forgotten that I had even put this in. Like, it was literally just to be funny.
Sure.
And so I talked to him, and he's like, the season is still going on right now. At that time, they hadn't been renewed for the next ones. And he said, would you want to do the quiz with balls instead? And so I was like, okay, sure. And so actually, like, me and I think it was 4 or 5 family members did, like, the Zoom calls and stuff with them to do the quiz with balls, and they were filming it for Australia. And so anyways, we did that for however long, and ended up didn't hear back from them. So I don't know which family member they ain't like. Wasn't me, but it wasn't me. I honestly think they probably couldn't understand half of what they were saying. But anyways, and so that goes on, and Alex called me back, and he was like, they just renewed for the floor. Would you want to are you still good to do it? And so I was like, okay. So I've been doing, like, literally y'all's Zoom call, waiting on it. I, like, had flashbacks to waiting to do all my Zoom interviews with them. That's all I can think about. But so, like, I've known since, like, January before we went that I was good. And so categories, like, honestly, like, I told him, like, I wanted paranormal movies. Well, I'm sure if there was probably copyright with Paranormal Activities that they couldn't use that in it. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
And so that's how we ended up landing on Ghost Stories. I'm sure being Louisiana played into
Sure.
the name. So
But pretty close to what you were asking for, which is
Yeah.
awesome. All right. And so like you get cast on the show, like what were your like going into it before you got to Ireland? Did you have any study habits or strategies about how you were going to prep for the show, or were you just kind of like, no, I'll figure it out when I get there?
So okay, y'all know I have my little notebook. And so like I went through like y'all, okay, some of this stuff is just dollar store. I'm not you gonna get
No
what you
reason to even study.
yeah, like Christmas, that kind of thing. Like, you know, the holiday foods. Well, besides the Jewish foods that I just still don't know. But anyway, so I went through the list, looked at the different ones, and like at that time, I still didn't know which one was mine because I'd also talked to them about Cajun foods. And so I don't know if they ended up on like fried foods with me from that,
Right.
or I had talked to them about Harry Potter. We talked about music and different things. So I was like looking at all these, and I was like, I think Ghost Stories is mine, but I really don't
Sure.
know. And so I just went through basically kind of like y'all did, Chat GPT, Google it, looking at the different
Okay.
things, and I was like writing just list down of different things to study. So each page had its, or each topic had its own little page. So I was going back and looking at the different stuff, but I was like, I don't want to waste time on stuff that I either know or like I'm just not gonna
Sure.
get. But I'm so OCD perfectionist about things. It's like, no, I'm gonna know it. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
even if I think I'm not gonna get it, I'm gonna still look. Like, I've never really watched The Simpsons. Like, that's not really my thing. The Emmy-winning TV shows, like, I know some of them just from seeing like the things on Netflix. But like I said, like I'm just like huge like Bloomhouse fan, that kind of stuff. So if it stays around that realm, then I know it. But as far as like celebrities and different things, I don't know people's names. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I know like,
Yeah.
okay, we're in this movie, but I don't,
Right.
besides Adam Sandler, like the big ones. But
Right.
I was like, I can't
So
look
let's-
at a celebrity or and know who they are. I just don't follow stuff like that. So there was some stuff like,
From-
I was like, I'm gonna have to look.
From that studying, when you had Dorian next to you with Lisa Frank, did you study the
You know,
actual the names, the
Yeah.
actual names?
yes.
And so when it pops up, and because you're the challenger, you go first,
Right.
and it's like whatever the first one was like heart maybe
Sure.
or whatever. Did you immediately just say, I'm just going to try this without the names?
No, so before we went up there, and honestly, like I wish that it would have been what we thought it was gonna be. Because I
Because
didn't
you
want
knew them.
speed category. Like I wanted something more that's you're more likely to get tripped up on this. Like
Right.
my
Yeah.
son can look at the screen and say this is a dog.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
like I wanted it to be more in depth. So I really hate them. The only duel that I won, thanks to Jonathan, was something that was that
No, I
To
totally
show-
I-
to show
as
you-
knowledge base.
because
Like,
I
they
100%
were-
You were
like
and
they
you
were
were an
hard to learn.
intense
It was
studier.
hard to find that much material on Lisa
Right.
Franks. Like, they could
Yeah.
have done so much more with it as far as difficulty wise. But anyway, going up there, you know, they give you a little water and you walking up the thing and they're like, this is what you're looking for. And they said, so if you name the creature that you see. And so they said, like, if you see a bear, you say bear. And I said, like, no name, like you just saying this, like you don't want the full thing. And they said, no, say what not in
It's
the name.
crazy.
Yeah.
We,
So
I mean, you were disappointed. We were all disappointed.
yes. And so I
No.
think I did that podcast with Zach the other day. He's like, I'm pretty sure I know exactly when they told you that because the look of disgust on your face. I was like, take this
Yeah.
water. Like, just take this water.
Yeah.
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 Okay,
We
I'm
talked
I mean,
about
but you
it.
did really good in it, and you actually some of the more difficult ones that were thrown your way, you didn't waver. You answered them quickly and fast, and you won that duel handily. But speaking of that, segue into your decision after you won the duel, Ashton. I mean, you mentioned that you liked Harry Potter a lot. Was because you got randomized so early your factor as why you didn't go after the whale in Harry Potter, or what was your thinking behind going back to the floor after you won Lisa Frank?
Well, Serge, had they played my 10-minute award-winning speech that I gave on the floor, you and everyone would know this. But yeah, I think it was the second duel of the
Still,
night.
yeah.
I believe so.
No, like I there's no reason for me to go back. And honestly, like, it was only episode 5. And so I was like, there's still so much game left to play. And with the way the well has worked for right now, like, it's just, you're just not going to make it to the end. And I was like, honestly, like, I would have loved 20 grand, like, just like y'all do. But like I said, if it had been like the second to last duel of the night or whatever, then I'd have gone for Harry Potter. And now looking at it and seeing what the Harry Potter duel was, I knew all of them. Like, we had literally just went to Universal to go to all the Harry Potter stuff for the second time with my little boy's been twice. And so I was like, we've read all the books, we've seen all the movies, we've done all the little side things, like, all of it. Like, I love Harry Potter. And so I really wanted to play it, but I was like, this just wasn't the right time.
Timing is so important. It's wild how much of a factor it really plays in decision making. But yeah, that's a fair point.
Well, I'm also interested though, like, timing, regardless of timing, like, was there a certain point in this game where you were kind of like, I do want to play for the 250? Like, even when you got your first position on the board, because you were close to the edge, were you already on the edge, right? Were you already thinking about that, of being like, well, I'm actually in a good spot to maybe wait this out and try to get to that 250?
Honestly, like, it just, like, I took it like episode by episode,
Right.
like, how is this going to change and when is it going to happen? And then after I was randomized when I was, like, it really didn't have anything to do with where I was as far as on the board that much. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, okay, well, now I've been randomized. It's duel number 2. It is what it is now.
You
Like,
had
I've
7 more after that. You'd have to
Yes.
survive.
Right. And I was like, and obviously, I know it can be done. The odds are just slim. And so, anyways, I don't know if it was necessarily to do with like where I was on the board. It was just more so to do with the timing. And then I just changed it up with whatever episode we were on as far as to the end. I don't want to say I was dead set on 250 no matter what. It was just, like I said, it was just timing of when it came up. And so at that point, I'm like, I think it was, I think on the morning, like on the bus ride over there to the studio after, I played Lisa Frank. I think we was coming back to do 6 and 7.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so I'm on there and I'm like, epiphany. Like, why am I studying all this other random stuff when the only person that can be randomized next to me is sportscasters? And how would I end up playing sportscasters if I've already been randomized to choose? Now, at this point, like, if it gets to the point where I'm randomized again and sportscasters still ain't going, then that's not possible. You know what I mean? So I'm like, why am I studying anything else like this? Like, I just got one.
Right. So you were just studying sportscasters from that point.
Basically, just in case for some reason Tim somehow swapped and became the whale, and then I play it.
Or if he played you in your category, you win, and then you get sportscasters.
You inherit it. Yeah.
You want to defend.
So more just defensive. Yes.
Right.
And so literally that was the only thing at that point. Like, I was like, why am I even looking at anything else? Because the well's going to keep changing topics. You know what I mean? Like, it could be the one on the back 40 over here that ain't none of us looked at because we were nowhere close to it. So it's like, I'm wasting my time.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and for those watching, listening, Ashton, there was a point, maybe the second day, where Ashton looked over at me studying with my notebook and just doing all these crazy notes. And she looked down at me and she said, "Oh, you're crazy like me." And I was like, yes, I guess. And I looked at Ashton's notebook, and this woman took studying very seriously. We've had many guests on the show, obviously, 100 contestants. Everyone studied differently, but one thing you have to know about Ashton is she studied hard. She studied really, really hard. And so you were like, I have to appropriate my time and make sure I'm studying the right thing. Yeah, so I got to respect that. It's like, yeah, don't worry about what the whale is, because the whale's going to disappear. Yeah, exactly.
After they do it, I'd tear the page out of the book. You go, don't. I was like, when Tim's voice, no, he's foolish, not me. So that was
Well, I think it's time to talk about our duel. So, did you have any idea that I might come after you before during the breaks? Were you
somebody in your close knit circle reached out to somebody that came and told me, I think he's coming towards you? So no, I wasn't completely guard.
Okay.
Spill the tea. What'd you hear?
I definitely didn't tell anybody, but I was studying it a little bit during that break. There was a very short break, as we all know. And so maybe somebody came and looked at my computer, but because I felt like a lot of people were afterwards, I've talked to people and they were like, "Oh, I didn't know you were going to go after Ashton. I thought you were going to go after so and so or so and so." And so I wasn't sure how much you knew. I remember like
As soon as you told me, dude, I told the whole floor, my guy. Like as soon as, because I remember you were studying phobias top, and you were like, "I'm coming for phobias. Phobias is the one." And then out of nowhere, right before our walkout, you say, "I think I'm doing ghost stories," and I was like, "Whoa, what about phobias?" And you're like,
right before we started filming the episode. Yeah,
Mhm,
because
right
I was
before
like
we
during the
filmed it.
break, I was not telling anybody anything.
We were at the lunch table, and I'm looking at this plate of food like, no. And then somebody came and told me, I think you can end up doing ghost stories. And I was like, I think it was Matt, but he might have been just completely.
Oh, no, he might
Matt
have
was an
just
agent of
guessed.
chaos.
He might have just guessed that because I definitely didn't talk to him about it.
After
And-
playing combat films, so I'm like, okay, I knew
Right,
you were a
films.
losing guy.
yeah,
Yeah. And so I was like, he said he wants to play the things that he thinks are fun categories. I was like, I don't, but I also took it as Jonathan thinks I'm a threat.
That's a great way to hype yourself up for a duel.
absolutely.
It's like, because you don't really know what's going through the person that challenges you's head. But if you just back yourself and say, "Oh, I know why they're coming for me. It's because they're scared of me and they want to deal with me head on." That's a great way to get rid of some nerves, right?
And I will say, I've talked about it on this podcast. I was playing the category, not the person. That being said, I definitely was more nervous about dueling you in ghost stories than I was about dueling Bob in combat films. And that was
you had seen her. You
Yeah.
had seen her duel.
Exactly.
She was cool under pressure.
Rest-
Yeah.
Don't make me talk about.
we love Bob. Bob said,
We
by the-
love Bob, but
Bob-
we are completely different people.
"Oh no, I had no idea who Bob was. I had never talked to him before we dueled."
Or me either.
Yeah, it was just I'm saying more of the. But it's funny. Bob said on the More from the Floor podcast that he didn't even really pick combat films, like, and when a lot of people on Reddit thought that Bob thought combat films was about war movies, but
Yeah, I
he didn't.
did.
He was like, I was happy they included martial arts movies because that's the thing I knew. I know nothing about war movies, which that was hilarious. I was like, oh,
I would have been knowing about war movies though if they'd have handed me that topic. Maybe I'll learn whatever you need me to if I know
right.
it.
I know. Yeah.
But
Yeah, you
that's-
don't become a
that-
helicopter RN without having some
He-
incredible like study habits.
You're
you
a
know?
little tight in this job. Yeah. Yeah.
So
but-
but our duel was I thought it was a really good duel. Of course, both of us were thrown off by the fact that it wasn't horror, which technically the prompt said name this movie with the spooky specter in it. So all it had to be was a movie that has a ghost in it.
The word
Like
spooky.
ghosts.
The word
Oh, my God.
spooky is going to throw you off. Watch Field of Dreams. Is that a spooky movie? No. Like seeing Field of Dreams up there was wild to me.
So many people texted me and they're like, since when? Like, did they change it? Like,
And then also Long Island Medium. I'm like, there's not actually ghosts in I guess if you believe in ghosts, but I'm like, like Long Island Medium is a
I
reality
know.
show. What are
Well,
you
I'm like-
talking about?
At
know
least
the
go
show.
there.
Like, I know, like,
Right.
if I saw it right now, yeah, I would know it. Or right any other time besides the duel, it was just like me and Jonathan talked about. Like, it was so far from my mind. Like,
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And that will mess you up.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what the same thing happened to me with Hamlet. It's like I've seen Hamlet. I know I saw Kenneth Branagh, who's famous for just doing Shakespeare. Movies. But I literally like my first thought was, oh, Haunting in Venice. But then I was like, wait, no, he
doesn't have the big mustache.
I literally was like, he doesn't look like that in Haunting. I was like, he looks younger. And then I was like, what the movie is Kenneth Branagh with ghosts? And I was like, I don't know, past. And Hamlet came up and I was like, oh, God.
You even gave a look over like, really?
Yeah. Well, even his Haunting on Hill House picture, like, I've gone back and looked at it now, I don't know how many times, and I'm like,
You can't
that's my
see the
favorite
actors.
series. Like, that's
Exactly.
literally my favorite series. But had you just showed, oh gosh,
The back
Neville,
of that little girl's.
yeah, like had you
Yeah,
just
with the
showed Neville
flashlight and then all the
in the old house, you would have immediately known, there
Yeah.
just that was a very odd.
it's a weird picture, and they do that a lot. It's the
They
same
do.
with Long Island Medium. Like she's like across a table from some other people.
You know that
You
hair
don't see her.
anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
And I would say this, like, I feel like I whatever. The duel was fun. The only thing that I felt proud about getting was Poltergeist, and the only reason I felt proud about that was because it wasn't a famous image from Poltergeist, right? I think it was one of those things where it's like you have had to have seen this movie to get it.
Yeah.
I first looked at it and I all I saw was a family that was covered in like blood, and I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And then I saw Craig T. Nelson, and I was like, oh, it's Poltergeist. But
Yeah.
you know, they threw up some tricky images on that. And Lady in the Water, which was your last one, and that was at the end, but even that was a tricky image. Like it was,
Yeah, and like even with all of this study, like y'all all know this, like, and I said from the beginning, like it is very much luck of the draw. Like it even on speed categories, like it's luck of the draw, like the great outdoors ones, like with the little the fire star thing at the end, like it's truly like just luck of the draw, and a lot of it is where you live, what you've been exposed to or have been around, like as far as like the holiday foods and that kind of thing. Like we've talked about this, like we don't have certain things here. Y'all don't have, you wouldn't know boudin on the screen from sausage, whatever. Like it's just very much so where you live and that kind of thing, fruit trees, that kind of stuff. Like that's some stuff that you can learn and look at over time, but a lot of it is just very much like luck of the draw on what images you get or don't get. And then when you pass, it shakes it up. But I'll say, knowing now that you got 7 right and I got 6 right, made me feel so much better. I've told everybody, Jonathan got 7, I got 6, and he's a screenwriter.
Yeah. The way the game works is you can only get one more right than the person who loses. But
oh. What? Do that. No way. I cut this one.
It was still no. I mean, it was still closer because if I like 18 seconds seems like a lot, but really it's like if I got 2 in a row, which I didn't know, that would have been who knows. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Factor in the fact that you passed 4 times, Ashton. You passed twice, Jonathan. It's like 2 more passes. As we know, we've been talking passes are 5 seconds. That's not an 18-second lead. Now that's an 8-second lead. Yeah. So it's
Besides,
it's tough.
Plus one also do his, like I knew the ones that had I got like that would have probably ended up being mine.
Right.
You know what
I
mean?
made this point in a different episode, but asymmetrical trivia, that's the problem, right? It's like, and it's not even about what's easy or hard. It's just like what you know versus what you don't. I just contribute all of that to luck, which is tough. Also, some controversy. There are no ghosts in the Scooby-Doo movie.
Okay. I was about to say that.
It's like in the second Scooby-Doo movie.
It's not the second one they showed.
Oh, they showed the first one. Okay, because I was like, is it
the first one is all like the monsters, they're like coming to life and for real, and there's no ghosts.
They pull the mask.
As a lawyer, man.
Right, they're fake. Well,
say the one movie they have is Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, which is based all in Louisiana.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the only one that has actual,
but no ghosts. There's still no ghosts.
Sure.
But yeah, that Scooby-Doo movie, there are real monsters, but there are not ghosts. And it's the same with Long Island Medium. I'm like, you cannot be showing Long Island Medium, man. Like, there's no,
you mean a proof.
Scooby-Doo is so obvious, but it's one of those things where
they should have shown a Scooby-Doo movie with a ghost in it.
I want to read
It's fun. It's fun. I'm not
anyway, great.
Like before that duel, and like I was talking about, like on the bus and stuff that morning, I was like, I'm going to be here till the end. I was like, I'm not saying I'm going to win, but I was like, no one can touch me. Like, I was like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, why would they come to me? And I honestly think like had it not been Jonathan, who does like all this stuff with movies and like loves the genre like I do, like you and Eric were the only 2 that came to me and they're like, that would have been something that I loved. Or that, so like I knew both of you, like y'all were the ones that were the most compatible with doing well.
Yeah.
Told me.
And so the other thing I'll say, I studied ghost stories before I was defeated by Charlie. I would have done well in that category, but I did not study that category well. I was shocked to not like Jonathan likes like trying to predict what the first image would be. And I also thought it would be Casper, which was the second image, but I was expecting Insidious. Insidious is not there. I was expecting The Conjuring. The Conjuring was not there.
Both were absolutely.
Amityville, like
And then
exactly.
A friend of mine was like, "Okay, if you are going to do movies that aren't scary movies, how do you not have ghosts?"
Exactly.
Yeah, and I'm like, there are like I get there's some things that you cannot show on a child-based,
but like
family-based movies.
But Patrick Swayze and Ghost, there are plenty of appropriate scenes. Even the kiln at the pottery thing, like That's appropriate. It was shocking. Ghost was also on my list. It was crazy. It was
Ghost-
absolutely crazy.
I don't.
I was like, who's picking these?
I know. I need
Yeah,
a better
DPP.
person. They need
So
a better
so
person.
many of the ones that y'all got, I could see if it was like you were both under 10 seconds and they got into the really hard stuff.
Yeah.
But man, to be
Off the
putting up
jump,
the
the
one-
gray and white, like that's hard.
Yeah.
I will
Ghost
say, like, I
made
really
sense.
didn't think, like I thought, like, okay, I'm set. Like, there's no reason Tim's gonna come to me. Like, I don't see Tim playing Ghost Stories.
I think
Like,
he
I just don't.
probably was going to though. Well, who knows? But I guess like I feel like unless
Will
he
you be you?
wanted to become the whale, the only option he had was to duel you. Not because of he thought he could
Right.
beat you, but just because he had.
But my thing was,
Yeah.
had it been like a few more of us, but it was like
Yeah.
there would be no reason to play me because he can't play enough to have 3 duels
Oh,
to
true.
win
It
against
would be
the whale.
Yeah, exactly.
It
It's
would
a
be
one
like
and
a
done.
survival one.
Right,
Yeah.
Back
right.
around.
And so it was just, it would be odd to me. And so I was like, I'm here,
Well,
like,
and
until whenever, and
also-
I'll be damn. Here comes.
Also, to the point of knowing the players around you, Tim had said multiple times, "I want to play. I want to get up there and I want to keep playing." Like he was itching for some stage time and to play multiple duels. That doesn't mean he wouldn't have not played you, but it just means that
Yeah.
he certainly wasn't going to play you and then go back.
Yeah. I do think
So-
for most people, though, like, there were easier categories. Like, once you were the whale, like, obviously, beside, like I keep saying, Jonathan does stuff with movies, like, he's confident in that. But most people, like me, you, whoever, there are so many other easier categories
Yeah.
Sure,
as far as gaining territory and time-based or category swaps that you're not gambling as much on, or categories that have a set number of things that it's got to
Yeah.
be one of these 50 or one of these.
Right.
One of those.
Yeah.
It was like ours also obviously was vast. One could not predict
Well,
what was
those-
going to be out there.
Question I want to
Yeah.
ask real quick before we let you is in terms of winning the 20K, what do you think the breakdown is percentage of luck versus knowledge versus strategy versus mental fortitude?
Honestly, I think a lot of it is, if you're towards the end of the episode, did the person decide to keep playing? What's the availability that someone's going to get randomized within the last first or second duel that's touching the whale? So like last season, so much different. You had options to go either Brian's way or someone else. They had 2 different
Yeah, they
chunks,
had 2
3
people.
different chunks of territory. Yeah, so I think our season is just hard to tell, but honestly, I think a lot of it is just luck, and then you decide which way are you going to go.
Okay.
Yeah, and part of it too is you just don't, like, you can look at somebody and think, how are you going to react to the pressure, or if you want to call it that, or whatever, the unknown. And then you have people that's like, I think they're going to do really well. I think they're going to, and then they get up there and either blank out or don't.
Right.
They don't perform
You
at all.
think
That's
the mental fortitude aspect of it has a lot to do with it.
100%. They get up there, you black out and you can't remember your name or anything like that. And
Yeah.
I'm like, so you've studied all of this. I think, honestly, like, I think that has more to do with anything. Like, when you're at home or you're at your nightly trivia thing, you go
So
do
much
one-
easier.
Yeah, and it's
So much easier.
no, and,
People-
all the things. I think that has so much to do with it.
Yeah.
And
All right.
One thing to point out too, as we get later in the episode, more time, like filming. There's been less nutrition going on. You're exhausted, less sleep. There's the later you get on into the season, the more I think important that mental fortitude factor becomes. Early on, maybe not as much, but now you're hitting exhaustion where like endurance starts to become a factor. So I think the later it got on is more. That's when mental fortitude became a bigger deal. I think I'd agree
Yeah.
with Ashton in that aspect.
Oh, 100%. And I'll say, like, when we got home from Ireland, like, I will say, I've never been so tired in my life. And that's from somebody that I work 24-hour shifts. Like, I'm here till 7 a.m. tomorrow. And there's plenty of times, several times a month, where I may be up for 36 hours at a time. That's not odd
Right.
for me. Like, but for most people who have never worked night shift or never this, that, and the other, and especially like the older generation that hasn't ever worked nights or anything like that, like, when you haven't had sleep, I'm like, I'm sure y'all's was the same way, but maybe it took a long time to get from Louisiana to Ireland. Like
Yeah.
the plane ride was not great. They did not put me in first class. I don't know. Oh, but I'm sitting there. Somebody done had what they called a medical emergency on board. I wore a sweatshirt that said
Oh
flight
my
nurse
gosh.
on. Lord knows I don't know why I did that. I'm standing in line to go to the bathroom, and they're like, "Is there anyone that would be willing to help?"
Oh
An
no.
emergency, and every single person on that plane like turned around and stared at me because I had this jacket on that said flight nurse, and I'm like, "Yes, I'm around."
Yes.
And
Time to do the tracheotomy.
Right.
Yeah.
And so like I didn't sleep the whole time on the flight. I was like just dying. And so I'm like, for other people, I'm sure like they were just done. And it's like your brain can't shut off because you're
Yeah.
like you're just balls to the walls, sun up to sundown.
Yeah.
Like I said, we ain't ate nothing. All I've drank is apple cider and prosecco for 4 days straight.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I remember when I lost my duel, my sister's watching it on TV, and she just looks over at me and she's like, "You look really tired." And I
Yes.
was like, "I was really tired.
Yeah.
You're not wrong about that." Yeah,
Well,
it's exhausting.
Ashton, thank you so much for joining us.
hold
Really
on.
appreciate it.
I have a game for y'all.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Y'all have time?
Yeah. Jeff's in the waiting room, so let's make it quick.
Okay. No, y'all go. You go.
No,
Y'all
no, what is it?
Play the game. Play the game.
Go ahead.
So I've got 4 Louisiana words. I'm going to see if y'all can pronounce them.
Okay.
Okay.
It out. Y'all ready? Okay.
Yes.
This is the first one.
What in the world?
Luke, you want to give that a
Mm.
shot?
Lanyap.
Yes.
All right.
I'm from North Carolina, so you got to keep that in mind.
There
Okay.
you
Okay.
go.
They get
Pretty
hard.
close.
Okay. I'm so shocked. Okay. Then not Luke. If he knows.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, wow. You want me to go, Sergio?
Yeah, well, I can't see it. It's Ashton speak, so I can get pulled up.
No, okay. I'm gonna mess this up. Alsta?
Washita.
Washita. Washita.
Washita. Okay.
Not at all.
Great.
I'm dead.
No clue what any of these words mean.
Nachitoches.
That's our parish. There's a parish. I'm
Serge said
I did like that
Nachitote.
Spanish coming.
Nachitosas.
Natchitoches.
Naked. And what does that mean?
That is not even real.
Parish.
All right, sure.
Well, so remember we have parishes and y'all have counties.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not. Is this
Mm.
Creole? Like, what are
Yes.
these words? Okay.
Chupatulas?
Chopatula?
What'd you say?
Chupatulas?
Chapatulas, yeah.
Chapatulas.
Pretty close. Pretty close.
Zapatulas.
All right.
That's street world.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
That's
you.
not
Hannah.
Good job.
That
Good
was
job,
fun.
Ashton.
Boosie would not
Love
be
y'all.
proud right now.
The best time.
All right.
Go ahead.
Bye,
Good
y'all.
luck in that helicopter.
Thank.
Oh, Ashton's
Okay.
riot.
Ashes. We got Jeff joining us. That duel was very fun. I would have gotten Sleepy Hollow. I would have gotten Ghost. I actually have a pretty close friend who's in Ghost.
Oh, dope.
Richie Moriarty. He's the guy with the bow and arrow through
Off like-
Boy Scout. If you've ever seen this,
Nice.
but Long Island Medium, I would not have gotten for sure.
Yeah.
That was a crazy pull.
I just didn't expect to see that.
Yeah.
That is just crazy, especially because there's no ghosts.
All right, we're welcoming Jeff to the show. Welcome.
What up, Joe?
Hey guys, what's up? What's
Um,
going
Good to see you, sir. That's
Nice
the
to
energy
see
the
you.
producers were looking for. That's the energy
Yeah.
that got you on the show.
Yeah, man. Well, someone had to clap for everybody while he loses.
Yeah.
Oh, Jeff. Okay. Well, you know what? Why don't we just get into it? And I know you work. How do we describe this? Like, I was going to say like the shepherd or like the advisor, the wise man on the floor the wise sage, because you had done this rodeo before. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. But when you're invited to something, you have to bring a gift. So I just thought, would anybody like the vanilla?
You're amazing. You're the coolest dude ever.
Mm.
The new
Throw
one.
it in the mouth.
By the
Just
way,
for the
they-
record, it's Nilla
Wait,
wafer. Not vanilla.
That's
All
not
right,
that's
we're
not
done.
the
We're done
argument.
with
I
that.
know it's
We're done.
not. That's
They're
not
very,
the
they're
argument.
very tasty. I'm so
Yeah.
I'm
Sure.
jealous. I'm jealous. I would love a Nilla wafer, right?
I eat
Not
Nilla
doing
wafer
it.
banana
Nope.
pudding every year, so I'll eat it.
Nope.
I'll eat it this year too.
Yes. Oh,
Probably
no.
sitting there just taking a bite of it while I'm talking. But anyway, yeah, so love the show, watched it first season. I'm like, finally, there's something. It's not Jeopardy where you have to know
Opera.
Mesopotamia. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I can do this. I love the show. I applied. I am not a social media person at all. So I just did it on my phone, thought whatever. And I got a call and I was like, wow. And then we're going through the process. And then they just threw in, oh, yeah, you got a passport, right? And I'm like, what? I do, but it's expired because through the pandemic, I wasn't going anywhere. I'm like, why do I need a passport? And they're like, because it films overseas. And was like, so I think I was pretty late in the whole application. I had to bust my butt. I got my passport on Monday. They were closing the interviews on Friday. I had to do a bunch of Zooms and stuff at work. So I was dressed in work stuff and I wasn't like at my best and whatever. I didn't get in for season 2. So didn't hear anything, a little disappointed. People flew out on Friday. I got a call on Monday asking if I still was interested in going as a backup. So I was like, holy cow. So I went, great time. Like you said, I went through the whole process, just like you guys, hair and makeup, all that, everything, met all these people. And as soon as we went to the studio, we had to stay back. And that was heart wrenching, man. We had to watch the first 5, 6 whole shows from that, just the media or whatever you call it, the holding room on a monitor. That was it. So that's how we watched the show. So fast forward, whatever, season 2's done. I reapply again. And I can't say that it didn't hurt. I'm sure it helped that I was a backup and I was a good soldier. I participated in everyone. And so, I got in. So yeah, I knew the process. Obviously I knew where we were going, stayed at the same hotel, all that stuff. I didn't want to tell anybody I was a backup because I knew I just didn't want anybody to give any reason like, oh, well, like that guy's here, come after me or whatever. So as soon as we got around production, though, all those people started hugging me and stuff. And so the cat was out of the bag. So I was like, once we actually stepped on the floor, I was just like everybody else. I had no advantage over anybody. So nobody cared. It didn't seem like, I hoped it was helpful to just ease people into don't worry about this. This is how this is going to go. Hair and makeup, blah, 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 all that stuff. So that was it. It was awesome.
I think it definitely was really helpful to people. The thing I'm interested in, I don't know if you were able to witness this at all when you were alternate. Did you realize, because I don't know if a lot of us did you realize oh, there is a bit of a social aspect to this game, even though it's not seen really by the TV audience, but there is a little bit of maybe some intimidation that's happening. Maybe some people are this gamesmanship. Alliances, people keep talking about on the floor, but the audience doesn't really get to see. Did you realize that was happening in season 2?
I don't think there was alliances, but there was definitely cliques of people that were hanging out together and stuff in their rooms and stuff. Definitely. I had study groups. You and I were at our same table. We had our little group there and season 2, actually, there's some people who are dating now and stuff. So it's crazy. It's unbelievable. So people just don't get it. They don't understand how close you can actually, how can you become close with somebody when you're there for 5 days? And you're because you don't.
It's war. It's war. That's why Sergio
is.
and Jonathan are having an extramarital affair. It makes sense. It's just some things happen and you fall in love. That's all there is to it. So
no, it's awesome. Meeting and hanging out with you guys. It's just amazing. I'm just a regular dude, man. I work at a grocery store. I've worked at the grocery store for 42 years. I don't know why they picked me. They picked me for whatever reason. And it was unbelievable. It's one of the best times of my life. Seriously.
Did you not watch yourself on TV, man? You were a vibe, my guy. That's the thing. Not only that, but the stories you had to tell, man, you brought a lot to the table. And at the end of the day, a lot of us don't get to perform the way we wanted to. But man, there's only been 381 people that have been chosen for this. And you've been chosen for it twice. So it's clear and apparent that you have a lot that you offer. So let me give you those flowers real quick. Just so
I
we can
appreciate
stop
that. I appreciate that, Serge. I appreciate it. Even though you lied to everybody, I swear to God, I thought you were telling the truth about your wife. I'm like, there's no way I'm playing this dude. He's like literally telling people he can't go home if he doesn't defend that category. I believed it. I really did.
So,
And just another reason why the social aspect didn't help out.
yeah. Can you talk to us about U.S. stadiums? I'm assuming that's the category that you wanted, just given the fact that you've been to so many.
Well, it wasn't the category I wanted, but I was totally cool with it. I was totally awesome with it. It was not a problem. I wanted a music category. I love music. I'm a big hard rock and heavy metal guy. I was trying to push that. On season 2, I pushed for album covers. That's what I wanted. I wanted album covers.
That's a good category.
Isn't it?
That's a really good category.
Because let's face it, Harley's probably never seen a record in their life. You know what I mean? Like, it was all we had back in the day when I was in high school in the 80s and stuff. So, like, just to hold them and the feel of vinyl and stuff. So I thought platinum vinyl records was my category, to be honest with you.
That's it.
I really did. And then I met Johnny the first day, and I'm like, oh boy, whatever. And I still think I would have beat him in that because I got every one of those right. Anyway, but I have been to a lot of sports. I'm a big, huge sports guy. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, that's right. He didn't play. He didn't play. He didn't play.
Yeah,
Right,
it was Tim
right.
versus Marcia.
Yeah. But I went to school. I wanted to be a DJ. That's what I wanted to do. Like not DJ Jazzy Jeff. I wanted to be a DJ
on the radio.
On the radio. That's what I wanted to do. That was my passion in life. So I went to. There's a very cool Columbia College here in Chicago. It's very successful, very prestigious school. That it's an art school. Like a lot of people got in the radio, TV, film industry, and a lot of successful people have come out of there. So I went for radio. I became the sports director. I got an internship at the All Sports station here in Chicago when it first came on the air. So that's what I wanted to do and was hoping to do. But it's a struggle in that business. It's a real struggle to get in that business. And I just couldn't afford to live on $6 an hour, which is what they were paying. So I ended up just having to go full time at the
You got a voice for radio, though. You got a face for radio.
Yeah, I got a face for radio, that's for sure.
Wow,
but you really do got a voice. You really do got a voice for radio. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Jeff, give us your radio voice.
Oh boy, my wife makes fun of me. She calls me Roger Radio. Hey, good morning, everybody. 5 after 7 here in Chicago. All the tunes playing for you today. Beautiful day out. Let's get going. Stuff like that.
That is so good.
She goes, you're doing that Roger Radio all the time. They're like, just be natural. So whatever.
That's amazing. No, that was good. Did you and Tim form any sort of friendship? Sportscasters, Tim?
We didn't talk at all. And actually, it's funny. I didn't talk to Tim 1 second, maybe on the bus or something one day. But yeah, now we're in the fantasy football group together, and I did their podcast the other night. Like, it's awesome. I definitely, Sportscasters was for sure on the radar. I definitely wanted to try to get over there, but it just was nowhere near me.
Right.
Yeah, and you have to win a duel to actually do something.
Well, so talk us through.
Yeah.
Talk us through like before you got challenged. Did you have a strategy for when you got randomized? Obviously, this was changing from week to week, but once we got past and combining these two huge pieces of the floor, and there's this massive whale, and that's the only way to win 20K, or I could try to wait it out and do the 250. Did you have it in your mind what you might do?
Yeah. So either way, it didn't change the way I was going to try to go. I like Luke wanted to get randomized terribly bad, because the only then I could use US stadiums as a weapon, and people were afraid of that category. I didn't realize it at first, but where I was, there was a lot of people that had no interest whatsoever in that category. So I thought I didn't love all the, especially the fruit categories around me, but they weren't scary to me, if that makes any sense. I thought I could have did any of those, but my path, if I got randomized, was exactly Luke's path. Exactly. Andre and state nicknames, Rick and presidents, and then I was going to go Courtney and car racing because I didn't think she knew it as much as she said. And
she was
being a
telling
sport
us,
guy, I think I could have pulled that one off. Then I would have taken the time boost because I would have had stadiums and just stayed there.
Stadium with
Absolutely.
a time booth?
Absolutely. What a strategy.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
The U.S. stadiums was one, and we spoke on it on the telecast.
Yeah, you did.
Immediately, John
did.
comes up to me. He's like, "I'm just happy it's gone." Because
I
on the bus ride, I remember talking to you. I think this was our first interaction, Jeff. But on the bus, you start naming off just.
remember
You
this
say,
too.
"Hey, Sergio, yeah, where are you from?" I'm in Colorado. He's like, Empower Stadium, like just dishing them out, right? And I'm like, "All right, listen,
Well-
guy, if you want to intimidate, you're working, okay? It's
Yeah.
working. You can
Well,
stop."
wasn't doing. I swear to God, I was not doing that on purpose. I really wasn't. But
Listen.
I did say that to everyone I met. Oh, you're from Charlotte, whatever,
Oh,
Bank
this
of
is
America
the
Stadium, whatever.
I sat next to Jeff at our table because in the kind of waiting room, lunch hall, like we're all on these different massive tables. Jeff had a notebook of like what was it, 300 stadiums written out.
Yeah, that's my process. I
And
write
you-
everything out.
He was just
That's what I was
looking at
doing
this
too.
notebook of 300 different stadiums. I remember looking at that and going like, "Well, that category's out." I remember being like, I also was like, how are you going to like the images of this? I just like I couldn't fathom ever taking that category on. So when Eric chose you, like that was real. Like that talk that we were
Shocker.
doing, Serge and I were like, that was 100%. That wasn't forced at all. I was like, I'm just glad this is like. I didn't really think Eric had a chance of beating you. That being said, I was like, he must be confident because to take you on in U.S. stadiums felt insane. And yeah, well, why don't you talk us through this duel? Because I do think this duel was one where it looked like both of you, but you in particular, there were a couple times where it seemed like the stress got to you a little bit and you didn't realize it was your turn and you froze for a second.
See, that didn't happen. So, okay, we got to talk about this. So, Eric and I wouldn't say we're like overly friendly or anything too, just because we were near each other. We probably did 400 fist bumps on that floor.
Sure.
And somehow they didn't get aired. I don't know. And none of them, which kind of was frustrating. Anyway, but we were friendly and whatever. We were talking that day. That was the third episode, right? Of the third day. He just casually said, I think this might be the day we go. And I'm like, oh, all right. Like I didn't have any, like whatever. And sure enough, Andre chooses him. I think Eric knew. Eric's he's great. We've kept in contact and we text and stuff. He's a really great guy. He's just private. So he didn't really want to be on the chat and stuff. And I don't blame him with like some of the stuff. He gets out of control. Anyway.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, one of the main culprits right here.
Yeah. Let's talk about the person you probably just had on with her spices and her 50 degrees is cold. Anyway, so when we started, I was nervous. I was nervous. I don't know why. It was, I think the pressure as you get going and people are leaving, it's the third day, you're getting to halfway through here. Like, you're like, oh my gosh, I can actually maybe do something. I didn't have any illusions that I was going to win the whole thing for sure. I didn't, there was too many good, solid, like really tough players with categories that there was just no chance I was going to play. And I didn't study. You said I had I did write at least something down in every one of my in a notebook about every category. But there were categories like I thought maybe ones that so many people wanted that I didn't even worry about. Like I didn't even look at Harry Potter because I thought there was no chance I'm going to even play that because too many people wanted that.
Right.
Too many people wanted to play The Simpsons. Too many people wanted to play Disney animation.
Yeah.
Like, so I was just like, I'm not even going to worry about that. The one that scared me the most, absolutely most,
Okay.
and it's the ones you said, Jonathan, it was Arlene and her houseplants who was 2 people up ahead of me.
Right.
That scared
Yeah.
I would have I would have stood there and said Fern for every single answer. I wouldn't have gotten any of them right. So anyway, back to the duel. So we challenged. The images of that duel were different than when we were there. I don't know if you guys remember that. The first image I got was Yankee Stadium. I took too long on it. I realized it was Yankee Stadium, but you can't go 15 seconds on an image. You have to. So I had to pass. As soon as I passed, I went, that's Yankee Stadium.
I remember you saying Yankee Stadium after your pass.
Yeah,
I remember
I was
that
like,
vividly.
I said that. And then I was like, and then I'm in my head. And then my problem was I was watching Eric's time too much than worrying about, for the life of me, when we got home and we watched it the other day, and people said, "Did you get Rose Bowl and Cotton Bowl?" I would have said no. I do not remember saying either of those.
You did.
I got them.
You
I got
got
them. But they changed the image. They changed the order of the images. And I think they actually, I was worried because I thought they were going to make it. I didn't think it was as close as it was. I thought Eric kicked my butt and I looked like a doofus on national television.
It was close.
And they ended up making it look pretty good. But they did change MetLife Stadium. My image for MetLife Stadium was like a faraway circular photo with like a body of water in front, and then they changed it to whatever the heck they showed me on Wednesday. I still wouldn't have gotten it, but
I grew up
yeah,
in Rutherford, New Jersey.
yeah,
East Rutherford, Meadowlands. That's where MetLife is. So I remember that one. I also remember watching that duel, going like, man, they showed a lot of the New York. Like I was like,
yeah.
I actually would have done okay. Like I still don't think I would have beat you or probably Eric, but I feel like I would have done okay because they had almost every New York stadium. I was like, oh yeah, MetLife, Yankee, Barclays.
That I got.
Field.
Eric's an East Coast guy. He's from
Yeah.
Baltimore, and he got all the Midwest. He got Lambeau Field and
Right.
Wrigley Field and Dodger Stadium. I'm like,
Yeah.
if anybody gets Dodger Stadium, Rob's going to kill us. But like, I would have gotten Madison Square Garden. But see, that's the thing. I wrote all the stadiums down. I studied them. Like you said, Serge, I knew it was the stadiums in Denver and all that. But I didn't, maybe it was naive of me. I didn't study the outsides of the stadium. That is not what I thought they were going to show. I thought they were going to show the insides of the stadium. And I think I would have been able to figure that out a little bit easier, or at least maybe an overhead view or something.
Right.
So maybe that was my
That's
bad.
interesting. That's interesting.
So-
Yeah, that's a tough. Like again, like some of the floor is down to the images that they choose. Obviously, sometimes there are controversial images, but then it's also like you don't know what their images they're going to choose.
Right.
And I remember there were certain U.S. stadiums. One of them. That was one of the reasons why I like really bother studying it, because I was like, I don't even know what images to. I think I like tried to study it one time, and I literally was looking at images, and I was like, this looks like everything looks like a stadium.
Differentiate. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it just like they all look like stadiums, and then I was like, it's one season. Remember when they dueled mountains, and I was just like, who the? But like, how do you know that? Like, you can know where mountains are, but to like actually literally look at a mountain and be like, oh, that is Mount whatever, Kilimanjaro, whatever. Like that's crazy. So it was tough. You were definitely an intimidating presence on the floor. And it's bad luck that you had maybe one of the truly only people who would have ever dueled you in your category to be very close to you.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Because I think, like you were saying, like Rebecca and Jackie and Demetrius, like none of them were ever.
No, they were never coming in.
Yeah.
But Jackie said right away, I'm not playing him. So like the only one I think would have been Jeremy. He was fairly close. He was just to the other side of Andre.
Yeah, sure.
But that was
He's a sports bro.
Yeah, exactly. He's a coach and he is a ref and stuff, and he doesn't like spices. But other than that, I didn't. That's why I liked where I was. I didn't like what was around me, but I did like where I was, and then I was hoping, we'll see. The one category I wanted, like I would have never swapped my category out for it. But I loved Canadian icons. Me and Sadia we had a really funny kind of back and forth. You say one thing to somebody and they all come running. And I heard you're going to steal my category. And I was like, who told you that, eh? So I was doing stuff like that with her. So it was fun. She was really cool. So she's still there though. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I think to your
She could
point
win it
though,
all.
like you were intimidating to a lot of people, and I think that's a testament as to why you made it as far as you did, because there was plenty of opportunities to come after you, and nobody really went after it. Like and even on the telecast, a couple of times we're like, we're just staying away from stadiums. Like, I remember Jackie said something like, I don't know anything about stadiums. I forget who it was. But so I think that is a testament to like you, the player, and how everybody viewed you, right? It wasn't, yes, USA, but listen, I would come after US stadiums immediately if anyone outside of you had it. I like the category. I'm a sports bro, as Luke says, but there's no chance of coming after you, especially after the conversation. So I feel a lot of the contestants felt that towards you. And I think the proof is how far you made it on the show. Everybody just avoided you and were like, stadiums is not, but it was more Jeff, right? Like Jeff with stadiums is a problem. Right.
Well, yeah, Elizabeth said that in your guys' podcast last week. She did. Again, they didn't show that. I wish they did. There was, I can't show everything, but she did turn to me while she was on the floor and said, "I like stadiums. I'd like to play, but I don't want to play him." And I was like, "Oh wow, okay,
Right.
cool." So that made me feel pretty good about it, actually. So
And I think that was a general consensus too, man. No one, stadiums might have been an appealing category, but as long as you held it, it was freaking scary, dude. It really was.
In terms of breakdown of 20K or 250, what are you think? Luck versus knowledge versus
I knew the breakdown, man. I think. Well, you obviously have to know, right? You have to know.
Yeah.
You have to have knowledge of these categories, otherwise. But the luck, man, I think luck is almost 50. It's not 50, more than 50%. Because, like you said, if Eric doesn't play me and somebody's forced to play me, like Rebecca, who was sweetheart, she was awesome. Anshpreet she was just like, she was almost in tears, like, "I'm going to have to play you," she said a couple times. And she's like, "I'm going to cry." And I'm like,
She was on an anxiety attack like every day though.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that
yeah,
was
she was,
that was tough.
I don't know. I would say like 50% was strategy, but Sturgis, I know some people are like not including his endurance and stuff, however you want to label that category, but that's part of it, man, because it's stressful to stay up there for so long. And it's like long days and sitting there. We lost the one guy, Benny, in the back there. He just couldn't physically handle it, and they had to replace him. So, like, it's crazy. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I think Shelby you could say was a victim of the stress, right? Like, breaking down because she knew her category. She just kind of blanked out a little bit. Yeah, so that's definitely a part of it too. All right, anything you want to leave us with before we go?
Nah, man, I had the time of my life. Like I said, I'm just a regular dude. I work. My other job is I work for the minor league hockey team here in Chicago. I've done that for a long time. I just enjoy it. Music is my huge passion. I've been to like thousands of concerts, to be honest with you, probably. And my bank account's a little shy this year because you have to buy all these tickets for these summer shows already, and they're not for another year. But I enjoy it. Ever the opportunity ever came where they gave us a redemption season or something, dude, I'd be the first person in line, man. First person in line, because Sergio's question always about regrets, obviously, is to not defend my category. That's the thing. I know it's like people are like, "Oh my God,
control though."
No,
you have no control over that.
It's gonna haunt my soul for the rest of my life, man. And it's not. It's just like I've been since April when we got back. I've been worried. I was worried that I was going to come across as a doofus, like I said, that these people are going to be like, he couldn't even handle his own category. But the feedback and everything I've been getting from everybody's been really positive, and everybody says it's a hard category. So at least I got that going for me. Yeah. So I had the time of my life meeting everybody. It's such a crazy, unbelievable experience, and I can't wait to see what happens with you guys.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Jeff. We appreciate it.
All right, guys.
Jeff, you're the man, brother.
Yeah.
Much love,
You
my guy.
crushed it.
All right, man. I see you guys. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely. Take care, sir.
All right. See ya.
Hey, we're now welcoming to the show, Josh. Welcome.
What up, Josh?
Glad to be here.
So, Josh, before we get into anything else, do you want to tell our story or should I?
Ooh. I'll let you tell our story.
Oh,
okay.
This is so romantic.
So, it is pretty romantic. So, as the listeners know, we fly into Dublin, Ireland to come participate in this amazing game show. And in so doing, they do not hire a taxi for one person at a time. You get in a van or small bus, depending on how big the group is. And they shuttle a group of us to the hotel, a few groups at a time. And my group was coming from the Atlanta airport. And so I see Marcia coming from Georgia. I see Christy coming from West Virginia. I just happened to fly through Atlanta, and because I'm coming from New Mexico. And I see this tall, handsome man approaching. And I look at him and I'm like, do I know that guy? And I'm like, well, I'm white. He's black. I probably don't want to just like assume that. And so we just start talking. Then I'm listening to him talk and I'm like, man, his voice is familiar too. And then we start talking about where he's from. He's from Greenville, South Carolina. He went to Riverside High School, graduated the same year I did, but not from the same high school. But I knew people from that high school. I'm like, okay, so we really grew up very close to each other because I grew up in South Carolina. And we're in the van and Josh turns around and he says to me, is your name Luke Job? And I said, yeah. And he said, we're friends on Facebook. And I said, yeah. I was like, Josh Rogers. And he was like, yeah. Me and Josh were almost, but we weren't. We were almost college freshman roommates our first year of college because Josh almost went to Appalachian State, but instead he went to stinky Clemson and he decided not to go to App State. So we met on an online chat group looking for freshman roommates. And we were like, we like the same stuff. You're going to be in band. I'm going to be in this like honors college thing. We'll both have busy schedules. Like we need somebody that'll keep to themselves, but also wants to hang out every once in a while. And it would have been perfect. And then Josh abandoned me for Clemson, but we were already friends on Facebook. And we have other mutual friends. One of our buddies was like, I can't believe I know 2 people on this season of The Floor randomly. And we were like, yeah, Zach, like shout out to you. But yeah, so Josh and I have been friends just far away from each other for a long time. And then we happen to meet in Dublin, Ireland.
The size of this world and how small it truly is.
Literally.
Is remarkable.
Isn't that crazy?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well,
It was wild. It was so wild.
Josh,
So welcome, buddy.
welcome.
Pleasure.
Listen, we were trying to skip people's backstories, but everyone gave it to us anyway. Do you want to do it?
That could also be your backstory. It's up to you.
On the floor.
Yeah.
How'd you get to The Floor? How'd you get your category?
Man, okay, so same as everyone else, I feel like I literally saw the show, had applied. It's like, do you want to be on the floor? Apply now. Same old. And I got a call actually like the following week. Got that call, had my interview with them. I actually had 5 categories that I chose to give them.
See, I was a 5 category or 2.
Yeah, so like marching band was one of them, board games,
Okay. Marching band was one of
Dungeons
them.
and Dragons, casino,
Same.
and I forget my 5th one.
Casino's a fun one.
Yeah, right.
Casino would be a
yeah.
good category.
one.
I mentioned casino too. That would have been a fun one.
That
for
would have been
sure.
a fun one, right?
I don't know
So-
why they haven't done that. That's
Right?
Yeah.
that's so much better
Good
than
thing it's
playing
so-
cards, guys.
Yeah, it is. That's a great point.
That's what I'm saying. So went through the audition process like everyone else did. Blah 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 blah. Insert Ireland here. So
So
Yeah, exactly.
so you got the category you wanted, which is well, maybe not your top choice, but one of your choices. which is
it was my
It was.
my
I was
top
gonna say that
choice.
has
Oh,
to
it
be
was your
a
top choice. Okay.
It was
John,
my top
so-
choice.
For those who don't know, Clemson University, one of the biggest football schools in the country, and Josh was a drum major.
Okay, you know what?
Clemson. So
Here's the funny thing about that as well. I think someone just said I was a drum major and I just ran with it. I was vice commander, which is like close, I guess, but I was never actually drum major. And I saw people just kept saying it, and I was like, you know what? I'll just let them keep on going with it and let it just ride. But
okay.
I was on band
That's
leadership.
like, you know what though? That's like Sergio offline told me that Ashley majored in ancient Greece. And then on the broadcast, she literally said, I have a minor in the classic. And I was like, I was like, Sergio's still doing this to me. The game is over.
Yeah.
The game is over. He's
gaslight
Yeah,
kids
psycho mouse.
Still
Saturate.
playing the game.
for everyone always.
So, Josh, when you got to Ireland, or I guess right before you got there, did you have like study habits were you trying to study stuff when you got that huge list of categories? Or were you
Yeah.
just-
So when I got that list, I had categories that I was just like, here's what I'm not going to be touching. Here's stuff that I already know about that I also don't really need to touch that much or like need a little refresher on. And then there are the ones that I was just like, okay, like, these are doable study categories that I know are going to be speed categories. So I'm going to just study those lightly as well. But there's some categories I really went all in on. I was like, I need to get these done. I know enough, but not a ton. So let me get everything I can get out of it done. I was like everyone else on that Sparkle grind forever. So I was living on that. And before I got there, and yeah, so then once I had my version of what I could do down, I was kind of just waiting to see where I was going to be
Where you're
placed
gonna be
around
placed.
to make my next study habit move from there.
Yeah.
How'd you
The
feel
two of
about your
us-
placement?
My placement, I hated it. I stayed it where I stood. Here's why.
Really?
Because of what was
Everything
around
I felt
you.
comfortable with was all on the opposite side of the floor. Like
Oh,
I wanted board games. I knew that Monopoly board before I even got there. Like I've known the Monopoly board forever. So I was like, if I can get near Monopoly
got it.
and near some other like speed-based categories, I'll be fine. But the only one I felt comfortable with around me, honestly, was Delhi.
Sure.
Like I hate people categories in general. I don't like looking at faces for the most part. And that's not my strong suit. I was studying those things, but like I just really couldn't get the hang of it. So I was just locked in on what I could know around me. So initially my whole plan was that like, witchcraft the whole time was my strategy of going that way. So
Yeah.
I don't
So
understand all that much.
yeah, so you get challenged in marching band first, though, and I'll be honest, Josh, your category of marching band. Before I knew it was you, right? My wife was in the Redcoat band at the University of Georgia, and she was also a gymnast. So there were like two things that she was helping me study for that I didn't really know, but then I started feeling better about them and better about them. And then when I saw that I know you and I knew your knowledge of marching band, I was like, okay, so I'm never touching that because it's like Sergio and Mattel. No one is going to beat Josh in marching band. It's just not going to happen. So you go up there against Deli Deb. What's going through your mind?
At that point, so even like before I go up there and Debbie beats Aaron, I knew she was going to come for me in the first
Really?
place. Like that was never I was well aware that
Did
she
she
was,
say
She wasn't talking to you, right?
she was not talking to me like the whole game. And I get it. I'm not gonna like knock her or anything, but the whole thing was like I actually like don't want to know the competition that well. I don't know. I was like, Debbie, we can like chat, we can be friendly. But she to herself like with me. So I was just like, I know she's gonna come for me. And Sadia, who was in front of me, told me, she's like, Debbie's been studying marching bands every single day. Like she wants to come for you. And I was like,
I see.
all right. So going up there against her, I knew she was studying it forever. And I was like, I haven't bothered studying marching band the whole time because why would I?
Right.
So I felt pretty confident going up there in my own category. I knew that there was very few people who could beat me in my category. So I was like, because
Yeah.
apparently, which I didn't think of it at all, but Sadia was telling me day one, she's like, I'm scared of that category. And I'm like, why? It's just instruments. But I guess like if people don't do band, they don't know
Yeah,
instruments.
a lot of nuance.
Sure.
You were oozing that. That was painfully obvious, by the way. As soon as you were chosen, you were oozing confidence. And I think, and I'll say this, like out of everyone we've seen duel this episode, you oozed it the most. Like it was painfully evident that you were like, man, this guy is not gonna lose marching band. Like you walked up there
Great
like,
duel of this episode.
but
I'm
you
just
didn't
playing, I'm
ooze
just
the
playing, I'm just
confidence,
playing,
my
I'm just
guy.
playing.
You
Yeah,
did.
It's
No,
different.
no,
You
I
took
definitely-
graphs.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
Josh
don't-
has a
like the
sexy
rest-
indifference.
No, I'm just
Yeah, no,
kidding.
Joshua,
I definitely
what-
don't ooze confidence. Every time I went up there, I was like, I'm gonna have a panic.
And so I did not
Um,
get that vibe from Josh. Josh went up there and it was like, it was just aura, right? Just coming out. You're like, eesh, this guy is, I would not have challenged him in marching band just based off that.
Wait, before, okay. I just want to know too, like socially, like
Mhm.
what were you doing? Like, did you feel like there was a social aspect to this game? Were you playing it at all? Like, because, yeah, I think like, even like knowing like, oh, some people are scared of marching band, like maybe you didn't think that when you first got there, but then you started to realize that, like, did that factor into like what you were going to do or decide to do?
Yeah. So like I said, with Sadia, she told me straight up, this category scares me. And I was like, okay. And honestly, and I told her, I said, so does yours. So it wasn't really like an alliance per se, but I was like, I'm not going to come after you. She said, I'm going to come after you. So we had our plan because she only had two options of going for me or going for Mark in CMAs. So I had that out of my head. So I don't have to worry about setting icons right now. I can wait for that later if the time comes to it. And then from there, I knew Ashley's plan coming into it as well, because she said she wanted to get to ancient Greece no matter what. So she told me, like, I want to go through the outdoors and go to Delhi.
And ancient Greece came to her. Wow.
Yeah, and so it came to
Well-
her. So also that playing in my head too, after I inherited ancient Greece, I was
Right.
like, no matter
That was
what,
a
now it's gonna
big-
come from me regardless. And
Got
something that I know this from day one, she says that I want this. So I do
Wow,
think
interesting.
knowing people's strategies as well and knowing people didn't want to challenge me as much made me feel a bit better going into it of what I was doing strategy wise. And I kept my same strategy from the get-go of what I was planning on doing. even though I was just, a lot of my friends were like, you didn't go for Jonathan. I'm like, hell no. I don't want one. Like I said, I don't want podcasters. Like, I don't feel crazy about them. I know some, but not enough. I feel like I was supposed to say you with that time boost. So I was like, no, I'm going to keep on my
Yeah, the time boost especially.
from the get go and just
Yeah.
try to make my way to my right and go that way.
So okay. I was wondering because on the telecast you say, like, I'm not gonna lie, Rob, it's not my favorite category when you inherit ancient Greece. Now, some people might look at that and be like, that's really silly for you to admit that.
To say that. Yeah.
But what it sounds like you're saying is like you knew Ashley, if Ashley got randomized, she was going to challenge you in ancient Greece. And because of that, you had to make that calculation in your head. You're like, okay, well, I've been studying witchcraft, and therefore, if I have to face Ashley either way, I would rather face her witchcraft than in ancient.
Which you've been studying. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I've been studying witchcraft enough. Like I had Sydney help me with her little study guide that she had. So I was like, I've already been studying this for a while. Yes, it's still tricky, but I think I have a better shot at this than Canadian icon. So I'm going to keep on going down this path I'm already going down. I know what she wants.
Right.
I am curious. So to know, like, had you have won, what were you going to go into episode 8 to stay on the floor and duel one more time?
My plan from episode 1, when we all got that sheet, was to go from witchcraft. Well, really, if I got randomized, the plan was take on Delhi, get Deb, then challenge witchcraft, and then go to playing cards and challenge Josh in that.
Right.
And get my 3. And
That
depending
makes
on how the layout of the floor was, then I would have made my choice at that point of what was around.
Right.
But coming into that episode, I always had a plan going into each episode of what if it fits, which we know like never really happens. But if I can, I'll do. So my plan this episode was if I got challenged by Debbie, I said, okay, so I have 1 down. If I can get to witchcraft and I can get to bones and still do bones, I was happy enough to do bones. I studied that for a while.
So you'd been studying bones.
I was studying bones anyway because Tanya was still so close to me too. So I was like, I'm going to still study bones regardless. I was studying everything around me really besides Canadian icons and CMAs. I was like, I don't really want to go down there anyway. They're in front of me. They're not really a threat to come. Like they'll duel each other for the most part, from what I inferred from what the
Understood. Yeah.
And so ideally, if that had happened, based on what was left, if I had gotten the ability to get a power up, I was going to actually category swap with Jeremy actually and take Roman numerals.
And give him Greece.
And give him ancient Greece. Because either way, I feel much more confident just in that. Because Roman numerals is something that is a knowledge and kind of speed category. You have to still know enough about Roman numerals to like do the math and everything.
Yeah.
What the numbers are going to be.
Absolutely.
And I was teaching Sydney how to do those. I was like, here's how you do Roman numerals. Like, here's how we're going to go through this.
I was about to say, because you were an incredibly social player, Josh. We both, I think, had a slight advantage in that knowing each other immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was a lot of talk. We would talk to each other and share information about who likes what. But I remember with Sydney, you and Sydney were doing that. She's helping you with what's next to you. You're helping with her what's next to her. Mm-hmm. And in past seasons, that's great. And it ends there and it's just friendly. But now with the category swap, it's actually extra genius because it's just like, oh, I have been helping her with something worlds away from me. And now I have a chance to take it for myself because I've been studying it too. And that's, unfortunately for you, it didn't work out that way, but still, it's really good strategy.
Yeah. So, and it even shocked me too, because Rebecca, she said it like in the episode that she was going to steal from me. And she told me that like, like that night, she was like, by the way, it was going to be you I was coming after. I was like, whoa, then thank God you lost. I was like, I can't believe you.
Yeah. Rebecca
like,
clearly was the one person who stayed up there to play. Oh, I guess you were too now. Neither of you had any plans to go for Jonathan and category swap into him or the like.
We also got to talk to Debbie because I got to be honest, I'm still shocked that she went for, I know she'd been studying you, but the thing is, Aaron challenged her, so she didn't have to play again.
Yeah.
And she didn't have, anyway, that was interesting too.
Yeah, I don't know what her strategy was either. So I figured it must be something like mine. I think she wanted to get through and get her 3 and kind of stay.
Yeah, 3 and maybe she didn't or maybe she thought she could take on witchcraft. It seemed like she
wasn't comfortable with ancient Greece. Let's be honest. Could have been another reason.
True. I think that it's interesting to be like not comfortable with the category and the risk that some people decide to take and some people don't. In previous seasons, when you're stuck with the category, there's nothing you can do about it outside of being a time boost. But even that, we all know, isn't really that helpful if you don't know the category. But
Exactly.
with the category steal, this category swap, it does seem like it really has the desired effect the producers want it, which is it makes people more aggressive. They get stuck with the category they don't want. They would rather try to switch it out. And I think the amount of people who have, and I don't know, I am making assumptions, but like when
But
Brad
we
got,
saw that with car racing.
Yeah.
Car racing got bopped around because of
right.
that.
But I guess I was going to say the only person I remember like Brad got stuck with hip hop stars. And I remember at the time thinking, I don't think this, like sorry, I'm saying pretend, but I actually don't know because we haven't seen him play it. He put on this front, like, okay, I know hip hop stars, but I remember when that happened, I was like, doesn't feel like he knows it, but maybe he does. And he was taking that calculated risk.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it just seems like a lot of people have been continuing to play. So anyway, I do have to thank you personally, Josh, because you decided to not play me.
Yeah.
And because you decided to keep playing and you didn't let the randomizer choose somebody else, I got to work.
Yeah, and that's like I
my
think
God.
one of my like big things too. That I was like, do I want? Because in my head, I was like, I need to be aggressive still. Because like I said, I know that the second at this point with the whole me and Sadia not alliance, but like us not knowing each other's stuff.
Right.
Now she's with something that she knows that she might know, and I still don't really know Grease all that well.
Yeah.
So now she came after me or Ashley. So I'm just like, now I have two people instead of just one person to worry about. Now I have two. And I could have, like, of course, like gone after the episode and gone and studied all night for that and prepared for it and gone into it ready the following episode. But I was like, I'd rather just go and be brave and go for it now while the Iron Talk kind of deal and just try to get all three.
And so you would have gone after Bones after
Yeah,
the
Bones.
next day.
Yeah, Bones.
I bet Josh
Stay.
would have been studying pretty hard, thinking.
Yeah, and I know Josh was studying for a lot of that too. And I know he's like, we talked about that, but I felt pretty confident about it. I come from a medical field family. I'm the only one who's not a doctor in my family. So I just kind of was like, let me just study all this and make sure I have what I know down. And I felt way more confident about Bones than I did about witchcraft. So I was like, I know if I get there, it'll be fine. If
I get you completely. That's exactly me with Sense and Presidents. I was like, I'm only playing Sense so I can duel Presidents. Like, and it just didn't work out for either of us. It's tough. You lose the forest through the trees a little bit and you see your destination, but it's like, I got to get past these other people and it doesn't work out. It's tough. I would have loved to see the Josh Bowl, Josh Bones Bowl. That would have been dope.
Well, I know. I was like, dang it. I wanted it so bad. But
so in terms of the breakdown between knowledge, luck, strategy, and mental fortitude, what do you think we got here? You can do two different ones for the 20K and the 250K. Because I do think they are different.
Like just overall, what I think, like the game that is
percentage wise,
like
how much of the game is luck versus knowledge versus strategy versus like.
I have to say, I'm trying to have a good percentage for it. I feel like at least is like, I feel like it has to be at least half a luck. Only because like you don't know where you're gonna get mapped out on the floor in the first place. Like that's all out of your control. What's around you. Like if I was around better categories or categories that I personally knew better, I'd be like, okay, like this is great. Like fell in my favor. I'm around three categories that I know one of. So I'm like, great. Unlucky, whatever. So I guess the knowledge part is probably the second most important thing. I would probably give that a good 30%. I feel like you do have to like study a lot to know what you're going up against to be able to at least have a fighting chance of getting stuff done. Like you have to at least know what you're doing. Like you can tell some people who like were like, I don't know what I'm doing really up here. So I'm like, okay, well, it happens. And then mental fortitude in general, I guess it is a long, like the days are long and you're just constantly standing and you're tired and your brain gets fried. I feel like that's sort of like in my head, the smallest portion of it. So I'll put that the last 20% of that being like, just kind of be able to hang in there and stay sharp and like make sure you keep yourself being able to strategize differently, be able to pivot when you need to pivot on something else. So that's how I'd break it down.
Is strategy involved in that at all?
Oh yeah, strategy's involved in that. I feel like strategy is probably involved in 20%. I feel like without the knowledge part of it, your strategy can fall out the window.
Yeah,
right. You can have as much strategy as you want to, but if you can't follow through with it, you're just screwed.
I will say, like, the more we talk about this, Like, I thought strategy was higher. And like, the more we talk about this, I keep putting strategy lower because I feel like
Same.
just strategy, it's like, yes, you can have some strategy, but once everything changes constantly, so your strategy keeps having to go out the window. And then two, it's like your strategy is nothing if you can't execute. And I
If you
think
can't
this
do it, yeah.
episode,
Exactly.
this episode really showed that like everybody had a strategy.
Yeah.
And like,
back
you
then,
can't
And it
even-
literally worked
you-
out.
yeah,
It
you
worked out
can't
for no
fault it.
one.
And it worked
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
for basically no one.
Yeah.
No,
Other than-
literally, there was not a single
Yeah.
person in this episode where, I mean, I guess
Yeah.
that's true. Yours, but I think even if you had gone back, I don't think
Yeah.
anybody's challenging you in podcasters. Like,
That's
look
true.
at that's like the luck, because the only people that could have gotten to you, like, there were a few people that were already bordering you, but they weren't
Yeah.
going to challenge you anyway. Josh, would you have challenged podcasters if you didn't have the time boost?
Oh,
Like, that's more 50-50, but I probably still
Fair.
wouldn't.
All right, okay.
I
So,
probably
yeah.
I
So we
do.
had Jonathan at the beginning of the episode. Strategy works for you. Everyone else
Everyone else.
falls like dominoes.
Yeah. Because I like in my head, I'm figuring too, if I go back to the floor and let's say someone else is randomized, I'm hoping like who wants to be like the sacrificial lamb of being like, I have to like just go for him and get like that time boost out of here. But I
Right.
feel like no one really wants to do that. So I feel like it's gonna be one of the islands who has to be like required to do so.
To
Oh,
me,
and-
it's like the only people who do that are when they truly have honestly have given up or like want to go. Like we hinted at that with Mark, right? Like it was like he went after Harry Potter. He knew he was going to lose, but like he wanted to go home anyway, and he was like, well, might as well just go.
Might as well try it out.
But like I think like this point in the game, it's hard. Like the closer you get to the end, the idea of like maybe I can make it, like luck has been on my side so far. So
Mhm.
like to
True.
just sacrifice all of that for the sake of other players feels
Yeah, it's like
silly.
no.
knowing
Like,
that there's
I mean-
3 people that will literally be forced into that situation, right?
Mhm.
So like, why
Yeah.
be the sacrificial lamb when you got 3 lambs just waiting?
Yeah, that's very
Really.
true.
And that was a really a general consensus. I don't know if you spoke on this, Josh, but like I remember Jason, I remember Saudi, I remember a lot of people saying like, "Yee, Serge, like you're an island, you're a strong player in Mattel. Jonathan's really scary in podcasters,
Yeah.
and we have a real opportunity here to get rid of Sergio in Mattel, and then podcasters with Jonathan. So there was an opportunity to like get rid of 2 players or 1 player, and then 1 category that was very fierce.
Well,
So
and it's the same thing. The other 2 islands were both that. People were intimidated by Laz and Arcade, even though they liked Arcade.
100%.
Laz was is a sharp dude.
Wow,
And then Tim in Sportscasters, the dude is a sportscaster. It's like that
I
is
felt-
really difficult.
This,
Yeah.
yeah. All right, Josh, thank you so much for doing this podcast.
course.
Anything you'd like to leave with? Or?
no.
any regrets? Any regrets at all during the whole process?
Any regrets? I think I always will play in my head like what if I went back to the floor instead. That will always be something that I'm gonna think about and being like, if I went back, like so many things could have happened that would have gone my way still, and I could have studied this and that. I guess I have seen the board and college all, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's- I always would wonder that. So I'm like, damn, what if? But that's probably the only real,
Yeah.
like, regret I've had. I got to go out. The perk of being eliminated last of the day was I got to have a whole extra day in Ireland, which I don't know if everyone knew, but like I was able to still like see what happened kind of the next day, which I but and see people still and go out and have a whole little like another tourist day in Ireland, which is super nice. So no real big regrets.
Me and Josh did do a tourist day on the first day, and we cut it off
Yeah.
so short. We were like, we are not enjoying any of this. We have to go study. So we
Yeah.
immediately bailed. We were like, the boys' day out was fun. We had a Guinness and we're good, and we got to go back immediately. It's like this is not good.
Yeah, we gotta study. Gotta study.
Well, it was
Yeah.
a blast watching you, Josh. You were someone that was really good on screen. I've said this to a lot of other people, but changing your strategy or like pivoting with what was going on, like that showed a lot of character. So I feel like to give you your flowers, I guess I'll say that was fun to watch. Your aggressiveness, your lack of wavering was a real treat to watch, and it didn't pan out for you, but man, who knows? You had a presence on there on screen.
And
so
you
maybe
won a
we can-
duel, which is a
I won
lot
the
of
duel.
people don't to say.
That was my
You
Yeah.
defended your
duel.
own category. Which
Yeah.
we just had Jeff
Successfully.
on.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess
Yeah.
a little funny thing. So my band director, he actually reached out to me before because I told him he saw my category on the screen like weeks ago.
Sure.
And I was like, marching band, huh? He's like, you better not lose. I'm like, I'll have like the band watch it. I'm like, please don't. I was like,
Yeah.
please do. I was like, oh God, like what if I like, messed
Yeah.
up? But he was like, so nervous for me. I was like, okay, I just want to make Clemson band.
They had some silly images in that.
I will say Debbie got done dirty on drum
On
cover.
uniform.
Oh,
I would
uniform
say
too.
that
Oh,
uniform-
and uniform also. Yeah.
I said because it was like jacket uniform, just like because
Yeah.
you're throwing things out there, but it is messed up that they're like, it's like you didn't show the whole uniform.
Yeah,
Showed-
you didn't show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just shipped the jacket.
Yeah.
And
You
then
saw
drum,
the-
drum cover, it's like, okay.
Drum cover
but-
was whack. But yeah, I mean, my wife in the band, she saw that and she goes bass drum, and she
Yeah,
said
'cause
it
it's the
twice. She
bass
was like
drum.
bass drum. She's like, that is a bass drum, and then it's drum cover, and she's like, nah, that was dirty.
That was dirty.
That was
Yeah.
dirty.
Like at
Am
least show them putting, like if they had a picture of somebody
Or even
putting
just the
Yeah,
cover.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Putting it on.
Like, don't show
Oh.
me the drum, just the
also-
cover. And
But also Josh's twirler, that also was silly too.
Yeah, I
Like,
know. That was dumb too, because if you're in band, what do you call that?
I call
That's why it's really frustrating that they're creating these expert categories for us, but they're not experts in the category, and so
Yeah.
they don't know what is the actual like colloquial term for it, and so to not give you twirler, whack.
Yeah, because like no one else, like I think anyone in the band room would call a baton twirler just a twirler, because you're not really
A twirler.
Like,
Also,
you're not twirling anything else really, like ribbons. I don't know, like what are we
Deb-
doing? besides-
Debbie wound up getting
Yeah.
this quickly, but football game, like when I saw that, I would have said stadium. I would have said football stadium first because like
Or
I
football
read-
fields,
or
yeah.
football field, like
Yeah,
and I was like, if you said those, would they have not given it to you? Like,
I feel like they would have.
I'd have said
That
halftime.
one was so like I was like, what?
Right.
Because in my head, like I said stadium, right? But I was just like football, like team. I don't know, but
yeah.
I'm gonna look like weird.
Anyway, that was weird.
no, but you did Clemson really proud. The ACC in general, you did them a
ACC
solid.
in
You
general.
did them proud.
Hold on.
Seriously.
You've done better this season than they have, so it's crazy. Like,
Oh,
shout out to
they had a
you.
big win. They had a
Yeah.
big.
Good
I
dirty.
know.
Yeah, big
So
win
did
last
Josh.
night. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, Josh, last thing I'll leave us with is every day since we left Ireland, you and I have spoken to each other. I'm so glad that you're my friend. It's an honor knowing you. You're a genuinely good person. You're a smart person. You're a kind person. And I just love you, man. So thanks for joining us.
You try.
All right.
Okay, no, you can leave.
Take care.
All right, bye, y'all.
Be gone,
Yeah.
Josh.
Be gone.
Bye, Josh.
Bye.
Much love, man.
All right. Well, we know what's coming. I only know because of the promo. So I'm comfortable now being the guy at the end of the episode to say what we're about to see.
Yeah,
If you watched
if you didn't watch the promo, just shut the podcast off now.
Yeah, I was going to
Go
say,
ahead.
because this is about to be a spoiler. We know that one of those islands is about to get randomized at some point in the next episode. And this little duo of Serge and Jonathan, it's about to come crumbling down. I don't know who's going to win,
Love of best, dude.
but I know it's going to be sad.
Oh man,
It will be sad. Anyway, you slice it, it'll be sad. It was the inevitable. We both said it was a possibility. Neither of us really thought it would happen the way the layout started out, but here we are.
I mean,
Yeah.
how do you-
That's
How
bad
do you-
luck.
how do you predict that an island will be reflected to
Exactly.
Except unless you're me in April, right? In my
Yeah,
family messages describing the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Manifested the worst.
Oh,
case
man.
scenario. Anything else we want to talk about these? By the way, I really did think Eric was, and we'll hopefully have him on for a bonus episode. I think he
Eric
was
crushed
coming.
it.
I think he was coming for me.
100%.
He was.
There was a little TV. So what he had at the time was state nicknames. Now, state nicknames was one I had studied when we got the 100 category. It was literally, to me, the easiest
Mm.
category to study because
It's 50.
It's just
50.
50.
It's
and
finite.
it's the name. Like you don't have to worry about like what. I realized at one point I read the prompt and it said something about license plates. So I was like, okay, I'll like look at the license just so I'm not thrown off by the image. Like I'll look at the license plate. And stuff. I knew that we were gonna either get the nickname or the state and just say the other one.
Mhm. Yep.
And so I was studying that hard. I think we had a TV break before he did his third duel. Like we had literally 5 minutes, and I ran outside and I grabbed Jacob. And I was like, "Quick, nickname." And he was, and then he just started shouting out the states, and I like got every one of them except for one of them, I think. And then obviously for that one, all right, I'll remember this one right now. And then I was like, all right,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would spell. I honestly excited because I was like, won't it be so sick? Like, just for the viewers, wouldn't it be so sick if somebody does this move that is two huge contestants out and they do it on me and then I beat him in fake nicknames and then just get podcasters right back and people are like, oh my God.
That would be wild. That would have been wild.
This
Yeah,
guy
it's
can't
tough
take it
because
down.
Eric was a competitor clearly in what he studied, and I
Yeah.
don't think he studied fruit trees enough.
Nah,
But man, when taking down stadiums, I was like, this guy's a baller,
me too, man.
absolute ball knower.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it was
was
crazy.
definitely nervous. But I was like excited, nervous, and who knows what it would.
You would have absolutely used your time boost too. So
Exactly. That's the other thing. I would have 100% used the time boost, which obviously would help a lot in that.
Yeah.
No, and
Yeah,
Eric
any
Eric
category
really
like
is
that,
a
yeah.
ball knower. Me and him, we've kept in contact after the show. He's one of the few that we talk pretty frequently, especially because he's a degenerate gambler. But that guy knows sports, man, up through the like top to bottom. And it's not just like football, basketball, right? It's like college, table tennis. But this guy, he's a sports knower. So I wasn't surprised. I'm gonna be honest, I was surprised he won because I didn't think anyone can take on Jeff, man. Jeff was such an intimidating person with that category. But when Eric did that, I was shocked, but I was like, he's probably the one guy here that would give Jeff a run for his money. I really felt that. And lo and behold, he ended up winning. But that was
The same
exciting to
when
see.
Elizabeth challenged Arlene. I'm like, sometimes these people just they know it and they back themselves and they beat these experts in these crazy hard categories.
Right.
Yeah, it's
And
wild.
Rebecca, let's give a shout out to Rebecca too. She defended her category super well. It made so much sense to go after superfoods. Like, there's some fruits in those superfoods. She crushed that as well. And then I'll be honest, like summer camp, like she was right there. Like it was a neck and neck duel. She winds up getting stumped on amphitheater, which is tough. If you're not like a theater kid or you're not used to those.
I was going to say, as a camp counselor, I saw amphitheater. I was like, amphitheater.
I
But
saw that.
she was a camp counselor.
Theater production.
She was a camp counselor. But the other thing is, camp is, if you've never been to camp or like been a camp counselor, it's not as uniform as you imagine. So many different types of camps. Like we didn't have a zip line at my camp. We were poor camp. We didn't have horseback riding, but we had an amphitheater.
Yeah. I didn't grow up next to a lake. We weren't inner tubing in my camp. Like
yeah, exactly.
But
to your point, like,
Adirondack chairs.
Rebecca needs some because she gave us everything, right? Rebecca gave us. She defended her category, which is fun to see. She stayed aggressive, which is fun to see. She gave us a lot of like sound bites and good television.
She's funny.
Was great.
She's a funny gal.
And
if you don't follow her on TikTok and Instagram, her baking and everything, you got to follow her. Yeah.
But definitely one of the contestants I feel that has really given the viewers everything, right? From defending your category, showing knowledge, showing tenacity, staying and playing, and then giving us all those little quips and sound bites. Like give her flowers, man. She was very fun to watch on TV and gave us everything.
Yeah.
So shout out, Rebecca. You're doing your thing, bro.
I still thought she was coming from too, but it would have been again with nicknames. Now we learned on the broadcast that she was actually going to swap category, but I was like, people are trying to come for me, and
you're the whale, dude.
No, I know. No, I expect this is exactly what I expected. And it just worked out. This is so funny. In the end of episode 7 of season 3, this was the last episode Brian won. Him and Mike split this episode. How many spaces they each have?
15.
14.
Yeah, 14.
Oh,
yeah.
What are you at right now?
I'm at 45 now because
45 because Ashton had 2.
And now in season 2 is finally catching up to us because season 2 is the first time somebody combined 2 of the bigger
ones
in episode 7. And so Virginia won that and she had 42 spaces. So still less, but like right up.
Because when you started seeing what you saw in episode 3 for us, right? When they had a large well, everybody was like, well, it's whale or bust.
We're judging it. Try and get it. Yeah.
Yeah. So for us, we experienced that episode 3, y'all. Right, so just to give you perspective, season 2 didn't feel that until after episode 7. We're feeling that from episode 3. And that changed the whole dynamic of this season. And I think it's made for very good, dramatic television.
Yeah. Also, and this is the last thing I'll say, is like Ashley wins. Ashley wins this duel. She's only won one. I have no idea what she's going to do, but I do know she had ancient Greece, and I was like, okay, let me when I go, and this is I finally get a night to study, and it's not that much time still because you're trying to sleep as well. But I went home this night, and I was like, for sure, I have to study ancient Greece. I have to study Mattel toy. I have to study sportscasters. I have to study arcade because one of those three are probably going to could potentially get randomized into me, and I have to inherit them. And then am I going to be able to defend them? And I have to study ancient Greece in case Ashley does 1, 2, 3 swap. And so I was just prepping for all of those.
Well, we'll see it Wednesday on Fox, 8 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific, 7 in the middle. That'll be good.
Watch the Floormance bromance come to a fire. Watch it just catch a blaze.
Yeah, I hope you guys kiss at the end of it. That's what I'm praying for. I don't know. We'll see.
So we tried, but production wouldn't allow it. It's what it is. What are you gonna do?
And they said, no, this is a family show. Sorry. Well,
Thank you guys so much for listening. We'll catch you next week.
cool. Bye, y'all.